Once upon a time there was a funny dog named Crispin's Crispian. He was named Crispin's Crispian because he belonged to himself. In the mornings he woke himself up and he went to the fridge and he gave himself some bread and milk. He was a funny old dog. He liked strawberries.
So here's Crispin's Crispian getting up and fixing himself his own breakfast, pouring his milk.
Then he took himself for a walk and he went wherever he wanted to go. But one morning he didn't know where he wanted to go. Just walk and sooner or later you'll get somewhere, he said. So soon he came to a country where there were lots of dogs. They barked at him and he barked at them and they barked back. Then they all played together.
Oh, look, Crispian's found the dogs. Here's Crispian running around with the other dogs. And two of the dogs have got his hat.
But he still wanted to go somewhere. So he walked on until he came to a country where there were lots of cats and rabbits. The cats and rabbits ran about and jumped in the air, and Crispin chased them and ran after them.
Crispian's chasing the rabbits here. Look, rabbits are running everywhere, and kittens.
He didn't catch them though, because he ran straight into a little boy. "Who are you, and who do you belong to?" said the little boy. "I'm Crispin's Crispian, and I belong to myself," said Crispian. "Who and what are you?" "I'm a boy," said the boy, "and I belong to myself too." "I'm so glad," said Crispin's Crispian. "Come and live with me."
Look, there's Crispian. He's just run into the little boy. And you can see their reflection here in the water. The little boy's fishing with a big pole.
"Then they went to the butcher's shop to get this poor dog a bone," said Crispian. Now, since Crispian belonged to himself, he gave himself the bone and he trotted home with it. And the boy's little boy bought a big lamb chop and a bright green vegetable and trotted home with Crispin's Crispian.
Here's Crispian and the boy buying their bone and the lamb chop at the butcher's. And here they are, bringing it home.
Crispin's Crispian lived in a two-storey doghouse in the garden. And in his two-storey doghouse he had a little fur living room with a warm fire that crackled all winter and went out in the summer. His house was always warm. His house had a chimney for smoke to go out, and upstairs there was a little bedroom with a bed in it and a place for his leash and a pillow in which he hid his bones. And there was plenty of room in this house for a boy to live with him.
Oh, look, there's Crispian's doghouse. His two-storey doghouse, pretty flash. And there's the boy waiting to get in. And look, there's a sign here that says no cats. Crispian doesn't like any cats in his house.
Crispian had a little kitchen upstairs in his two-storey doghouse where he fixed a good dinner 3 times a day because he liked to eat. He liked steaks, chops, roast beef, chopped meat and raw eggs. This evening he gave himself bone soup with lots of meat in it, and he gave some to the boy too, and the boy liked it. The boy didn't give Crispian his chop bone, but he put some of his bright green vegetables in the soup.
Crispian and the boy are making dinner. There's Crispian chopping up the meat to go in the soup, and there's his bone, and you can see some green vegetables floating in the soup.
And what did Crispin's Crispian do with his dinner? Did he put it in his stomach? Yes, indeed. He chewed it up and he swallowed it into his little fat stomach. And what did the little boy do with his dinner? Did he put it in his stomach? Yes, indeed. He chewed it up and he swallowed it into his little fat stomach.
Crispian and the boy are having their dinner. Crispian's eating out of his dog bowl and the boy's having his chop on his plate.
Crispin's Crispian liked everything at the right time. Dinner at dinner time, lunch at lunch time, breakfast in time for breakfast, sunrise at sunrise, sunset at sunset, and at bedtime he liked everything in its own place. The cup in the saucer, the chair under the table, the stars in the heaven, the moon in the sky, and Crispian in his own little bed.
Oh, and look, there's Crispian tidying up. He's sweeping with the broom and the boy's putting the plates away.
And then what did he do? Then he curled up in a warm little heap and went to sleep, and he dreamed his own dreams. That's what the dog that belonged to himself did. And what did the little boy who belonged to himself do? The boy who belonged to himself curled up in a little ball and dreamed his own dreams. That's what the boy that belonged to himself did.
And here they are, both tucked up, sound asleep in their beds, dreaming their own dreams.
Mr. Dog, the dog who belonged to himself. Read by Chris Padgham, January 2008. Story by Margaret Wise Brown and pictures by Gareth Williams.